If you have ever loaded into expert mode thinking you are ready only to get absolutely folded by a boss you have beaten 100 times before, this video is for you. Because here is the truth nobody really says out loud. Expert mode isn't harder because the bosses are smarter. It's harder because most players are fighting them in arenas that are actively working against them. And once you fix that problem, expert mode suddenly feels familiar, almost comfortable. Today, I am going to show you the exact arena design that turns expert mode back into something that feels shockingly close to classic. Same bosses, same mechanics, but way more control. This is not a cheese build, not an in-game setup, and not something you need rare items for. This is foundational arena design that works from early pre-Hardmode all the way into late game. And once you build it once, you'll wonder how you ever played without it. Most players build arenas the same way they always have. A few long platforms, maybe some campfires, maybe a heart lantern if they are feeling fancy, and then they wonder why expert bosses still feel overwhelming. The issue is not damage, the issue is not gear. The issue is that expert mode punishes vertical chaos and poor movement flow more than anything else. Bosses are faster, projectiles are denser, and mistakes snowball harder. Your arena has to do one thing above all else. It has to give you predictable movement. If your movement is predictable, your reactions don't need to be perfect. And that's what makes expert mode feel brutal for most people. Their arenas force them into panic movement, constant jumping, and last second dodges. The design I am about to walk you through does the opposite. It slows the fight down without actually slowing the boss. Let's start with the core concept. This arena is built around horizontal dominance, controlled vertical spacing, and recovery windows. Instead of stacking 5 or 6 platforms close together, you are going to use 3 primary combat layers, spaced deliberately. The bottom layer is your safety net. This is where gravity brings you when things go wrong. The middle layer is where most of the fight happens. The top layer exists purely as an escape route, not a combat zone. This spacing is critical. Each layer should be separated by roughly 20 to 24 tiles. That spacing is not random. It allows clean jumps without forcing double jumps, prevents accidental head bumps, and gives you enough air time to react to fast projectiles without floating helplessly. Now let's talk width, because this is where most arenas fail. Short arenas feel fine in classic because bosses are slower. In expert, short arenas turn every fight into a corner trap. Your arena should be at least one full screen wide on each side of the center point, ideally a bit more. If you can run for a full minute without hitting a wall, you're doing it right. This gives you room to kite, room to reset, and room to let bosses overextend. And yes, this means clearing the space. But this is a one-time investment that pays off for the entire world. Movement accessories shine in this setup because the arena is built to work with them, not against them. Hermes boots, Spectre boots, lightning boots, even just a basic run speed increase suddenly feels twice as powerful when you are not constantly adjusting for awkward platform spacing. Wings in hard mode feel smoother. Hooks feel more intentional. You are never fighting the arena itself. Now let's layer in the tools that quietly carry expert mode fights without feeling broken. Campfires and heart lanterns are obvious, but their placement matters more than people think. You want them on the middle layer, evenly spaced, not stacked. This ensures that your primary combat zone always has passive regeneration without forcing you to camp. In expert mode, passive regen isn't about tanking damage. It's about reducing how punishing small mistakes feel. One stray hit doesn't spiral into a death because your health is always slowly climbing back. Sunflowers are another underused piece of the puzzle. Place them along the bottom layer or just off to the sides. The movement speed boost stacks beautifully with boots and lets you maintain spacing without burning stamina on constant jumping. This matters more than raw speed. It's about control. Honey is where a lot of players either overdo it or ignore it completely. You don't want a giant honey pool that slows you to a crawl. You want a shallow dip, one tile deep, at one end of the bottom layer. This is your recovery zone. When a fight goes bad, when you are low, when a phase transition catches you off guard, you drop down, touch the honey for a split second and get out. That brief buff can be the difference between stabilizing and dying, because it's optional and positioned off to the side. It never interferes with normal movement. Now let's talk about why this arena makes specific expert bosses feel dramatically easier without trivializing them. Eye of Cthulhu in expert is aggressive and punishing if you miss just distance. In this arena, you don't need to panic jump. You run, you turn, you jump only when you choose to. The controlled vertical spacing means his dash patterns are easier to read, and his second phase starts feeling like a blur of teeth and regret. Brain of Cthulhu and Eater of Worlds benefit even more. The wide horizontal space prevents forced overlaps, and the clean layers let you reposition without getting body blocked by platforms. You're not reacting randomly, you are responding intentionally. Skeletron, especially in expert, is where this arena really proves. The hands are fast, the head hits harder, and spinning attacks punish poor positioning. But with this design, you are always one clean jump away from safety. You are never trapped between platforms. You always have an escape factor. And this doesn't stop in hard mode. Queen Slime becomes manageable instead of chaotic. The twins become readable instead of overwhelming. Even Plantera benefits from this structure when adapted to the jungle, because the principle stays the same even if the materials change. One of the biggest misconceptions about expert mode is that you need complex arenas for every boss. You don't. You need one good arena that respects how expert bosses move. Once you understand that, Terraria stops feeling unfair and starts feeling demanding in a good way. The final piece of this design is something most players completely ignore: empty space above the top layer. Do not build ceilings, do not clutter it. That open space is what allows emergency wing use, grappling hook saves, and last second dodges. Expert mode loves to punish players who hit invisible ceilings at the worst possible time. This arena removes that problem entirely. Also, prepare to build a long vertical tunnel at the below of your Plantera arena. When Plantera is in her second form, it will be super helpful. These are some of the basic tips for making an arena which will be super helpful for your fight against the bosses. So, when you hear someone say expert mode is only for 30 players or master mode is only for 30 players or people with perfect reactions, remember this: most of the difficulty comes from fighting bosses in arenas that were never designed for them. Once you build an arena that supports predictable movement, controlled recovery, and clean spacing, expert mode or master mode starts feeling like a different game. It starts feeling like classic mode with higher stakes. If you want Terraria to feel fair again without turning it into a joke into master mode or expert mode, build this arena once and use it forever. It's not flashy, it's not complicated, but it works, and that's what actually wins the fight.